Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and I never thought I would be doing this again because I was basically trying to get away from the political conspiracy stuff. But basically here we are again with another episode of the Signposts. Okay. Now what brought this on? Well, I was basically feeling compelled just to go out to my balcony earlier this evening and just start to tune into the planet, start to tune into the world. Every now and then I will get these compulsions to do so. And I was getting a lot of flow coming in earlier this evening relating to the state of the world, relating to what is happening. And like I said, I really didn't want to get involved in these things once again, but like I said, I rarely have a choice pertaining to the idea of what needs to come through, what needs to be shared. Ever since 2008, when I started this work, the agreement was that whatever I get from these particular transmissions, I have to share with other people, right? That's just all part of the name of the game with me. So this is exactly why I'm bringing back the signposts. I don't really have a schedule for when the signposts will continue to happen. I just tune into the world. I get impressions about what's happening and I post them up because I'm basically contracted to share everything that I get through intuition and sharing it with you guys, because it all comes back to my agreement that as I evolve, I take you guys with me, right? And that information, that knowledge of evolution is shared to you guys through me from what I receive. So it's a little bit of the introduction. So here's what I was getting as I was just sitting on the balcony in meditation, getting the information. The old guard are falling like flies, okay? Everything pertaining to the corrupt is going out the door. Basically, there are attempted alliances pertaining to certain forms of mafias. Certain mafia groups all over the planet are trying to converge and unite together and work together to see if they can maintain a bloated, dilapidating empire. But of course, none of it is working to any of their means. Simply because not only are the counterforces taking them out, they are basically taking themselves out altogether, because someone always wants the throne. Somebody wants the big chair. Someone wants the executive position. Someone wants the power. And it becomes a dog-eat-dog situation. And basically from what I'm getting from the entire planet, from what the planet was telling me, from what Earth was telling me, from what the collective consciousness is telling me, the entirety of the dark agenda is on the way out. Right? Everything pertaining to those who have been trying to rule with an iron fist, they are falling like flies. They are very spread thin. We're just seeing them, again, not being able to cooperate with one another. There's always ego that's in the way. They're trying to fight with one another. They're trying to see if they can get an empire back, but no one really wants to agree with one another. They're always trying to, express their stroke, try to feel like they have greater power and greater authority than others. And there's mafia gangs fighting with other mafia gangs, and they all represent dark hats. Dark hats are basically killing each other. Simple as that. That's what's taking place. Not only are the counter forces starting to take them out, dark hats are basically taking out the dark hats. It has become a dog-eat-dog situation. And this is really what it has led to now, throughout this particular point now in 2023. And as their presence weakens a lot more, there's going to be a lot more exposures, because what's happening is they're dropping their guard. As they're dropping their guard a lot more significantly, there's going to be a lot more data dumps. There's going to be a lot more greater exposures pertaining to financial situations, government situations, the falling away of puppets of leaders that are in political power. All of that is going to begin the falling away sequence. It's all just basically franticness that's happening with them right now. They are losing their edge. They really don't even have a plan. They're still trying to stick with their playbooks, but their playbooks aren't working. And they're noticing that there's a lot more betrayers. There's a lot more double agents, you could say, in their masses that they are still not aware of. And so basically a lot of these old players within these old guards are starting to turn things around, and they're starting to move in a new direction. And they're basically leaving a lot of their old leaders and their old bosses high and dry. These mafia members are basically drying up, and we're seeing them go through an incredible domino fall. Now, where are they? A lot of them are in Switzerland. Okay, A lot of them are also in certain installations. There's certain mountains as well too that still have installations that have not been taken down as of yet. Some of them are also inhabiting underwater bases, but these are much more of the higher ups, right? They're not more of the grunts. It's much more of the higher ups, and they actually are in underwater bases. Some of them are in the Atlantic, some of them in the Pacific, some are in the Indian Ocean as well too. So there is a lot of calamity. Again, it's kind of like watching the cockroaches scatter, right? As I looked above the earth, I was seeing such beautiful light. I was seeing such beautiful harmony. There are some truly majestic, beautiful beings that are in spacecraft that are watching over the heavens right now. Take that for what it's worth, but that's basically what's happening. A lot of them, again, are just hiding behind the veils, and they are working a lot, sometimes even just telepathically. They're not always physical conversations that are going on, but there's a lot of telepathic transmissions coming in pertaining to the ground crew here, and there's a lot of guidance. The counter forces are well ahead of the game right now, right? There's a lot of things that are happening, a lot of things that are going to be turning around, but like I said, still things that are going to make people angry for as long as you're watching the mainstream media, okay? That mainstream media, and again, I've talked about it for so long. I've talked about it over and over and over again. Is nothing but a clown show. It's nothing but a three-ring circus. Nothing on that boob tube is real, right? Everything is really kind of like an initiation. It's like a coming of age. Can you graduate the high school of the earth by knowing when to turn off the television? By knowing that what you're seeing on there is nothing but a bunch of puppets and staged actors that are being fed scripts, that are basically told what to do by their handlers, okay? Presidents, prime ministers, they all have their handlers. None of them have legit authority at all. And I would say that is the majority of all the well-known leaders on the planet. None of them have true authority. They are all puppets. They're all being handled, right? It really is just looking at a three-ring circus. It's a clown show. And none of it on the boob tube is real, right? The boob tube is, again, just giving you guys a soap opera. It's giving you Hollywood, and that's all it is. So when they talk about all these different things, they are the result of watered down stories. It's not the truth. It's not the full truth. There's little bits and tidbits here and there. But it's all meant to really make you angry because there's different divisions pertaining to both sides. There's a neutralization that exists within the mainstream media, which means mainstream media can be used both by the counter forces and the dark forces. Both of them can use it. As both of them can use it, they can basically shoot scripts back and forth, and certain media organizations and networks will favor some other scripts, and it just becomes a big mess. And this is why so many people get confused trying to figure it out, because it doesn't make sense. It's all part of an initiation program. It's all part of more stories, basically trying to blow smoke up your butt, or at the same time trying to say, get out of that whole thing because it's a scam, it's ridiculous, it's not real. And you're getting an array of all of these different perspectives about stuff that is complete and total BS, of something that's nothing but fear propaganda, of manipulated stories, of basically taking something, an event that's actually happened, and trying to spin it another way, and then trying to have the other side try to debunk exactly what's happening. It's a mess. Okay? It's why we can never figure out the nature of the media. What's going on? Why is all this stuff happening? There's counterforces, and why isn't it just counterforce news? Because mainstream media is a neutral ground. And it has the ability to favor both the counter forces and the dark forces because they still use their money in regards to the stories that are being spun. Okay? But it's all part of an agenda to try and get the people of the planet to completely fall away from governmental authority. It's all part and parcel of all of these things looking to collapse so that the people will no longer try to hold up the weight for these particular politicians and governments. Everything starts to fall. Now we see that firstly in the Eastern world. Western world is the last part of it to change fundamentally and on a profound level. But if we look around the areas of Europe, if we start to look in areas of Asia, we're seeing a lot more activity taking place there. But in the West, it's much more slow going. It's just how the Western world is. Basically, it needs to go so deeply into the red before they start to change anything, before anything turns around that way. All right. So again, just be aware of when you're watching the mainstream media and thinking that that's where you're going to get answers. You're not. It's a clown show. It's a three-ring circus. It's a soap opera. It's Hollywood, right? You're only going to get bits and pieces here, but even when there's bits and pieces of factual knowledge coming together on the boob tube, it is greatly slandered. It is greatly watered down. It is greatly exaggerated, right? None of it is real. It is never the truth. What is the truth? I've already told you guys. I already told you what the truth is. It's right here, okay? It's looking into these things, it's discerning. It's looking into these things, it's listening to your heart. It's talking to your fellow soul tribes of people in that sense that follow a similar path to yourselves. But as I'm looking upon the world, there is such a brilliant change right now, right? I'm seeing so much light coming upon the planet, even though some people are seeing darkness. It all depends on what vantage point and what angle you're looking at. And rather, you got to get out of the angles, you got to get out of the narrow views, and you need to start broadening your horizons. You need a rainbow spectrum about seeing exactly what's taking place, and it is so beautiful. It is the complete and total takedown of the corrupt. And I feel like this is pretty much going to be finished by around 2025, 2026. 2025, 2026, there's going to be such new agendas that are going to be spinning. It's going to be the end of one game, and it's going to be the beginning of a new game. The end game here represents the idea of the complete and total parting of ways between the people and the government as it stands right now. New governments will be forged, but these will again work towards the idea of being independent. Provinces, states, countries, moving much more into an independent agenda. When you start to see independence, that's letting you know that things are moving forward in a very, very beneficial way. That's what's going to be taking place here altogether, right? People are worried about all these situations that are happening in the media. Like I said, it's not to say that those stories are completely made up. There's things like that are happening, but they get exaggerated. They get spun. They get watered down, right? They basically get blown out of proportion. And then you're having certain agencies telling lies. And then you have other agencies that are debunking these things. And like I said, you cannot get it from the media, right? The best thing to do is turn off your TV, start working together with your soul tribe, start working together with the people that are very much in alignment with you. Start working in here. Start growing yourself here, because this is the only truth that there is. You are the truth. Everything that represents you and your life is the truth. Everything that helps you to prosper and you to expand is the truth. You being able to educate others because you are feeling inside about what's really happening and you know it to be true is the truth. That's what we need to stick to. So this has been my report for the signposts. Like I said, if I do have more information, because at times I do feel compelled just to connect with the earth and get updates. It's kind of like my own intuitive CNN that's taking place here. And this is all just my perspective, my point of view. As another friend of mine says, for all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very heart, being, and soul. So thank you for tuning into the signposts, and I'll talk to you again next time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar. Take care.